And I'm going to go ahead and make up another one. Let's see, what do we want to do? Got a battery holder, battery, some more resistors. Let's do a blue LED, and we're going to put a body on this one. And I have tremendous difficulty reading these, so these metal film ones. Let's bring in the multimeter. Theoretically, I pre-selected these, so they should be good, but you know, I don't know. Let's see, it's 300? No, 360. Okay, so that's blue, I think. So, yeah, I guess that's a blue. Orange, blue, black, black. These are 4-band. So we've got 360 and then 0 more zeros, which seems counterintuitive, but that is the way it is. So I'm going to cut these a little bit shorter because there is going to be a body, so I don't want super long legs. So there we go. And for the arms, I've got these little blue diodes that presumably I got for a project, but I know they've been in the junk bin for years and years and years now. And so we're going to go ahead and use these. So with the capacitor body, so I've just picked a random capacitor I like for the side. I'm going to bend the leads all the way up the sides and over. Like so. There we go. And then I am going to have completely misplaced my needle pliers because I was working on something else with them. I'm going to bend them up like that, just inside of the edge, like so. My goal there is to get them about the same width as the diode there. So do that, and I'm actually going to cut them off right about there. So that's fantastic. Oh, my diode rolled away. Okay, so longer leg is positive, and I'm actually going to cut them at a slight angle, just so that I keep that longer leg. Put them in here, and I'm going to start tinning some leads. Let's tighten that down just a little bit. Okay, so let's go tin some leads. You don't need a ton. The more you get, in some ways the easier it is, but in other ways the harder it is. There's more to stick to, but also it is more likely to, you got to be more precise as you hold it in afterwards, because it'll take longer to cool. So, the capacitor has a negative side, just for clarity purposes of, my sanity in the future. I'm going to do the negative side to the negative side of the LED, like so, and then I'm going to do the positive side to the positive side of the LED, like so. And I actually didn't get enough solder in, so I'm going to flow. I'm just going to knock it off. Cool. I'm going to flow just a little bit more on both of those. That just does not want to stick. Okay, so if you're having this issue where the solder just does not want to flow on, grab a rosin pen. And just dab some some extra flux on there. That'll just help it wick. The other option, of course, is to get it on both sides. So let's do that as well. There we go. You can see with that rosin flux on there how much more I can flow on so much more easily. Okay, so negative side, straighten those up just a little bit. Like so. There we go. Okay, with that in there, the reason I've done it this way, something good to point with. I'm going to point with the rosin pen. Your legs kind of come in a little bit in your body. You don't really want the center of your legs to be, you know, on the outside. So by having that in there, we can... Actually, let me see if I can tilt this just a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. There we go. So we've got wire coming across the bottom, and I can just tin that whole bottom. This is really tight on the capacitor, so you want to be pretty careful. I mean, the capacitor does not have to work afterwards. Okay, so I've got a little bit on both of those. Let's go ahead and attach the legs. One leg. Two legs. Yeah, those are pretty firm on there. And go ahead and tin the feet. And go ahead and tin the battery holder. Just like so. Spread the feet just a little bit apart. Looking here is that negative side on the capacitor, so the negative side is going to go to the bottom negative pin on the battery holder. I do not have steady hands this morning. That is definitely a thing. And that joint just feels dry, so we're gonna just gonna go back and reflow that one. Wow, that just all came apart. Okay. Cool. Okay, great. Okay, let's start this over. Let's clean the soldering tip. Hold that really still until it all hardens. And we'll do this negative side here. Gonna flow a little bit more solder in there. Okay. Here we go. Go flow a little bit more solder right in here. Okay, let's give this another go. Yeah, that's just not quite to do it. Let's get a little bit more solder on this. Is my soldering? No, it's definitely hot. There we go. Got a good blob. Hold it nice and steady. Let it come down here. And just flow those together. This one over here I'm not super happy with, so I'm going to take this opportunity to redo it now that we've got everything else tightened up. Like so. There we go. Okay. Once again, these arms are going to be a little bit too long. Diodes also have a band. I'm going to match up those bands. Don't know why. Just, pretend it's his shirt. Cut those even. Cut those even. There we go. That looks pretty good. So we are going to be working in awfully close to where we've already been. So there's a risk that we will desolder the head. It's not a huge risk, but it is a little bit of a risk. Luckily the head has two sides, so it's not, most likely we'd only get one side disconnected. So let's go ahead and attach the left arm. And the right arm. I don't think the solder stuck over there at all. Yeah, a little bit of flux. And your soldering flux is like a miracle. It solves most of your soldering problems. The smoke you see flying away is the flux core of the solder as well. So the flux has solder, the solder has flux in it. But just more is pretty much always better. There we go. Okay, so we got another guy done. He's very blue. And plug him in and he is not working. No, there he goes. Okay. Go. 2 down.